Not, I don't know. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is your NXT recap show. There's a lot of stuff happening, but this is the road leading to Great American Bash. We had some appearance by some of the Judgment Day. We had Carmelo Hayes kind of getting it. We even had Braun Breaker do a couple of shenanigans on this past episode, but we'll be right back and we can jump right into it.
T-minus 1 minute. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
I said on the planet.
Yes, hello. Hey, everybody. What is up? Happy Thursday. I hope your week has been going awesome, swell, and all that good stuff. I am Katrina, one of the hosts and writers of Women's Wrestling Talk, and also the creators in Cat We Trust. And I'm here with my partner in crime. You know, like, we are everybody's favorite duo, my tweeny twin, Shayna. How are you today?
It's a Thursday. We're getting closer and closer to the world beginning to spin on its axis correctly. SummerSlam, of course. I'm excited. It's a good Thursday.
For 1 second, I thought you were going to talk about the aliens, and I'm like, oh yeah, because
the aliens just came to see Beyonce's tour. I'm not worried. They'll be gone soon.
I mean, I personally just think we all knew this. I'm like, are we really surprised that they're here? Like, no. I mean, they're probably just like, these Earth people are terrible, whatever. But yes, it's almost SummerSlam time, which will be, I think, in a week. In a couple of days, it'll be SummerSlam. But we are talking about the roads leading to Great American Bash. And it's been an interesting couple of weeks to see what we were going to get at Great American Bash. So before I guess I jump in, how were your thoughts as far as the show overall?
I mean, I enjoyed it. There was some stuff that definitely, had me invested. Definitely was invested in the Cora Jade Dana Brooke match. I thought that they really brought it. Loved some things that happened to people who were being bullies. I'm not gonna get into it, but I will speak on it when we get to that. And just seeing I guess Dominik and this has been really cool. Like, I feel like I'm a fan of Dominik. I feel like, okay, yes, there's things about him people will be like, oh, I hate this, but it's like he delivers where he needs to deliver, I feel, for the most part. So I'm into it. I think it's a cool swerve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, him winning the title, hey, what's up? I was like, all right, first of all, like, we had plans, okay? We had who we wanted in this matchup. It was supposed to be Tyler Bate, Mustafa, and West, and it was like, you know what, guys, on Thursdays, we don't care about what you guys are saying. We're gonna just swerve. And that's what happened. And so I was kind of upset about that. However, outside of him talking about he was in prison because we're gonna stop those shenanigans. You were not in prison. You was in the holding cell, maybe. You were not in prison. Prison is hard time. He's not you hard time. But with that being said, I did think this was a fantastic show. And I do like Dominik. I was a fan from before. I know people didn't really like him, thought he needed more work. But clearly being with Finn and Damian and Rhea has helped him as far as get more into character. And so I like that. But we're going to jump right in. Hey, Wilson. Thank you for popping in as always. And so starting off NXT, was part of the Judgment Day being Rhea Ripley and Dirty Dom Mysterio, which I'm not really sure why he's called Dirty Dom. That's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of gives me SpongeBob Dirty Dan vibes. But I was like, okay, we seeing, and if I swirl the other way, if I was swinging that way, Rhea, listen. Every time, this is what I know. Sexuality is definitely not a choice because if I was that, But anyway, Dominik, Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley did kind of come out, the kind of a little bit gloat of what, was last week with him winning the title. And it was pretty cool. Hey. And thank you, Jeffrey. I was doing mom stuff, mom duties. But Wesley he did come out to interrupt because he wasn't too happy with what happened. And you know what? I love Wesley, and I truly believe he gave a hell of a title run, more than most people can say. But he kind of felt the way about Dom taking his title, which wind up leading us to Mustafa Ali kind of coming out as well and kind of being a little bit angry about this whole scenario. I do have my thoughts of Mustafa, kind of being upset just because, bro, you kind of weaseled yourself into this. But I do like that. What I appreciate about NXT is they have been doing the whole having somebody from the main roster kind of open up the show, and I think it's working personally. The crowd of always not giving Dom any leeway, and Rhea kind of had the speak a little bit over them. And I do think both Wesley and Mustafa did tell everybody how much they felt the NXT title, North American title meant to them, etc., etc. However, this wind up leading into a bit of a brawl between Mustafa Ali and Wesley. And I feel like, Dom and Rhea did what they needed to do. They kind of was like, oh, you guys, too soon. I feel like they did what they needed to do to kind of get them kind of at each other's heads, and it worked. But I thought it was a really fantastic open to NXT. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I loved it. Honestly, Wesley has one of those voices when he yells. I'm like he's dead serious. When Mustafa said something, and he said, "Watch your mouth," I was like, all right. I wasn't even talking, and I was like, fine. Jesus. Yeah, no, I liked the whole opening. I loved how interactive Rhea was with the crowd. Like, they were like, cut the mullet. She's like, the mullet is staying. And then she just goes back onto what she's saying. Like, I just love how she really goes back and forth. Even she was like, I have a mic, I'm louder. Anyways, continues on. Like, she's just so deep in her bag at this point. I love Rhea. So yeah, I just enjoyed it, and just I want to see more of Dom, like, which I know is crazy to say because I feel like the whole point of like him and Rhea is like she's more the dominant one and he's more like, but I do want to see him step up a bit more, like, especially now if you're going to be being a champion, like you can't be hiding behind Rhea for too long now. I need you to step up and start talking over. Who cares if the crowd's screaming? Scream louder, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree there. Like, I feel like if I was ever wrestling, I'm not, but if I was, I would probably follow on the heel line okay, we can do this all day, audience. Like, you know, um, we're gonna stop with this. He did not go to prison. We're gonna stop these shenanigans. He did not go to prison. Okay, like, but I was a fan of Dominik. I've been saying this. When people was comparing him and Hook, and when him and Hook came out about the same time, AW, WWE, who's like, oh, Hook is better, and where are we now? All I'm saying is I was always on Dom's side in that regard, but I don't like that he's talked about he's in prison. We want to stop these shenanigans. He was not in prison. But I do think it was a fantastic open to NXT. I thought it really, I thought it really propelled what we're gonna get at Great American Bash. I don't know how I feel about Mustafa going this hard about it because, like, bro, you kind of weaned yourself into this matchup. But otherwise, again, fantastic opening. You let the whole mullet thing worked. I thought it was pretty awesome. And so this wound up saying later on after this, it's announced that Dominik would defend against both of them at Great American Bash. And he didn't see as cocky as you know, he was earlier. There was also an interview with Lyra Valkyria saying that she wanted to see where she stood in the women's division by fighting Rhea Ripley. I really don't know if that's the way to go by it because you just had the NXT women's title match for that tournament a few weeks ago. And while I do think she should have won, and that's me just, whatever, I was just like, how is you going against Rhea? Like, I feel like, ma'am, where are you on the ladder right now? I think you need to, like, calm yourself down just a tad, because how are you sitting here talking about where you stand in the women's division as if you like that important right now? Like, you're cool and I like you, but you, like, stop. And that annoyed me. I was like, sis, stop. But what were your thoughts as far as that little segment from Lyra?
I mean, I didn't think it would go that direction of her wanting to face Rhea. I saw it more as like a mentor thing, but I guess that was where it went. And honestly, after seeing the match, I'm not too mad about it. It was a fun match to watch. I was a little confused because I felt like it came out of nowhere, so I kind of agree with you on that sentiment. But yeah. I don't know what this means, or like how is this, like what's the end game? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is this, like where is the end game for this for Lyra? Because we've had two different times where we thought that she really was gonna have it, like, in the bag, and then it wasn't
Yeah,
like that. And so now they're putting it into her again, like putting that time behind her, but are they gonna follow through this time? Because we're on our third time with this.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I like her. I do like her. I think she has a good move set, but it's like there's something that clearly is not clicking to everybody else. So I just like I need you to calm down just a little bit, just tad. And so the first matchup of the night was some 3-on-3 action. Basically, yeah, basically with Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Alan Dragunov versus the Schism. And so I actually, I actually was okay with this matchup. I didn't know why at first they kind of put um I have we'll come back to this comment. I was a little surprised that they put Carmelo with Alan Dragunov, considering they're going into, Great American Bash fighting, going against each other. And so I was like, okay, but it wasn't bad. I actually thought it was okay. I thought there was moments that were really, really good. So there was a moment where Carmelo did save Trick from doing like from a double suplex, and then they hit like a side by side running clotheslines, which I thought was really awesome. Alan also accidentally caught Trick with like a running uppercut into the steel steps, but I felt like caused a little bit issues between them. But at first it seemed like Alan Dragunov and Carmelo were not on the same page, with this. And Carmelo wound up doing, he got the blind tag because Joe Gacy was wound up being alone after the stuff that happened with the two masked men attacking the dyad at ringside. And so this wound up allowing Carmelo to hit his nothing but net to win this matchup. And like I said, I was a little surprised that we had Alan Dragunov on this with them, just because it seemed like it was getting real extra in the last couple of weeks. Like it was intense. And like, do you put yourself in a situation where I gotta now work with you? And everything. And so, because clearly, let me just go back to this comment. Like I said, I like Dominik Mysterio. But what we're not gonna do is talking about he gonna challenge Roman Reigns. Where's he challenging him? Is he gonna challenge him to a game of spades? Challenge him to a game of Uno? What's happening? He's not challenging him for some belts. That's what he's not gonna do. Okay, because then I'm gonna have to go to Connecticut. We don't want to do that. Okay, I will have to go to WWE headquarters and be like, first of all, let's get this together. You're not challenging my guy. But otherwise, I thought, considering that this match was pretty well done, and it wound up being some situation even after the match backstage, and Trick kind of got an Alan Dragunov face, even though Carmelo kind of told him to back off, and Carmelo even told Alan Dragunov that Trick was going to call him out for a fight by the end of the night. And, Alan Dragunov was like, not worried, blah, blah, blah. But otherwise, I thought it was a really fantastic match. I enjoyed it. And I'm not really sure who these guys in the mask are, because, it's like, are we going to get new people coming in?
Oh my gosh. Do you see the one behind Ava? Do you see their hair? That is Brutus's hair. That is Brutus's hair. How could he be so careless? You should have worn a ski. That is his hair. Oh my god! Wait, this is my first time looking at this photo.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not looking because he has that extra foot back here, So I think that is him, and he should have been better. Like, come on, hold it a little better, dude. Hold it a little better. Like, come on, guys, come on. But like again, this was a really good matchup. I do think it's going to be a fantastic match on Great American Bash. I really feel that. But what were your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, I thought it was cute. I don't think it was meant to be anything crazy or like, be like, I don't think the most important thing about the match was the match itself. I think it was more so the story being told, which was basically just, the miscommunication between Dragunov and Trick. And honestly, Trick, I don't know what's going on with you. You got to stop. Dragunov already beat you up real bad. We remember, we was all there. And you know what's funny? What I find funny is when I first started to see a bit of cracking between Carmelo and Trick was when Trick had that match with Dragunov the first time. And now to see a little bit more stuff going on and it's Dragunov again, I'm like, you're trouble, Mr. Dragunov. But I'm loving, like, I don't know what it is. I really think it's the goatee. I can't explain it. The goatee is adding something devious to this character. I can't explain it, but whenever he says everything now, I feel like he means it 110%. Before it was just 100%. Now it's 110%. Yes. I don't know how this is gonna go because honestly, I feel like Carmelo is definitely he's giving very much baby face. Like now it's just giving full baby face. Before it was like tweeny. Now it's full. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess we will see where this go. But I do think they're gonna really deliver at Great American Bash. I feel like there's just something to have them both on the show before Great American Bash. But I thought it was pretty solid, which leads us up into our next matchup. Before the match happens, Big Body Johnny, as they call him, but Javier Bernal did say he asked for this matchup between him and Ron Wagner because they had some kind of interaction, I guess not a good one, at a recent NXT house show. And then Booker T kind of talked up that Javi was going to do something. However, he did all that talking, and then I was like, oh, all right, well, here we are. So pretty much Von Wagner beat him up. And I didn't even, I didn't know how I feel about this because I'm like, well, damn, he didn't get no options. He pretty much beat up Javi, he made him look like light work, honestly. He beat him very quickly. And then even after that, this led to him knocking, after he won the match, he did send Javier through the announce table by the will or by the NXT universe. However, Braun Breaker did come out because Braun just liked to start apparently. And Braun Breaker did come out and spear Von Wagner into the floor and then hit him with a steel chair. And so while it's cool that Von Wagner got some wins, and it's like we've been saying, you can't be a big guy losing like this because get it together. You can't have him like lose like this. I didn't understand why they have to make it a squash. It's like they made it a squash, and then after they made it a squash, Braun was like, well, F this win. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And here I am. And so I don't know why Braun picked him. It does seem pretty random. I don't understand why he picked him, but this is clearly his next target is Ron Wagner. And since he's a big guy, it won't look like it's kind of weird. You have to, like, Braun's pretty big for his size and Ron Wagner's big. So we see how this goes. Maybe Ron Wagner will pull some tips from Braun as far as being more me wanting to watch him. I feel like a lot of the times I'm like, I guess. Like, I don't care if he's on my screen. I'm not like, I can't wait to see Von Wagner next week. Not for me. And so, yeah, that's what happened in that, again, squash match, which I kind of felt the way about because I'm like, well, goddamn. All right. But what were your thoughts on this matchup and Braun's, picking him to be his next opponent, I guess?
I thought justice was served because I get it. Javier asked for the match, but then it should have ended at the match. The extra stuff you want to put him through the table, now you're being a bully. You're being a bully after you spent weeks talking about bullies. He's giving bully. That's what it was giving. And I honestly like Javier more. I feel like he's more entertaining. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. So I really hated this. I hated this for him. I really did. And I just didn't like it. Like, why are you putting him through the table? You already won. Like, it was a whole squash. Why did you feel the need to do that? Because the NXT crowd said it. The NXT crowd says a lot of things. We cannot listen to most of it. Like 80%. So, Braun, I applaud you for striking this bully down. Because the only thing that can take down a bully is a bigger bully. What I will say is my most favorite match from Von Wagner was probably his match that he had with Braun Breaker when he was champion. So I'm sure that they will definitely deliver something. I'm hoping Braun is on top. I'm sorry. I just refuse. I just refuse to see Braun lose. Like, so Braun, thank you for dealing out justice, hard justice. The justice that Dijak should be dealing out, but instead he's bothering Eddie Thorpe. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, he definitely was giving the bully vibes. And I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I don't really like bullies either, but like, hello, why are we playing this kind of game in this manner? But I'm with it. I guess we're gonna see. You know, I'm hoping for the most part that this will help Ron Wagner just be a little bit more on point, because I feel like something is missing, and it really be bothering me. I be trying really hard, you know, to be like, okay, and no, it just don't be hitting like I want it to. It don't be hitting, and it be making me upset. So there we are. So afterwards, there was a vignette of Tiffany Stratton pretty much calling Thea Hale's actions despicable for forcing her into a match. And I'm like, listen here, Miss Tippy Top Tiffany. Here, this is what you get. You're supposed to be the top lady in NXT, right? You the tippy top. You want people to get to the top. Well, guess what that means? That means people are going to challenge you to matches. You can't just be sitting there with the belt being cute. That's not how this works, Miss Tiffany. And so I was like, Tiffany, nobody cares about all this. Nobody cares about your vignette. Nobody cares about what you're saying. Nobody is like, oh, I was waiting for words. I was not waiting for this because, like, sis, you knew what was happening. You tapped, and magically the referee apparently is blind and didn't see any of this, and you were still champion. So clearly, questionable. And clearly it is denial and delusion. Like, ma'am, you tapped. You tapped more than once at that. You need to lose. We can get over this whole tippy top Tiffany and move on to better. Now, do I know who I want to be? I don't know, because I feel like we do so many shenanigans in the last couple of weeks of who can take her place. But Tiffany, stop it. Like, acting like you don't understand why you was getting like, oh, I don't understand. You understand, sis. You know why you got this match, because you was doing shenanigans. And I mean, I guess, but the fans also feel what I'm feeling. Nobody cares. It's like, we're not like, oh my god, Tiffany, yay, autographs. Nobody's asking for this. Well, maybe there's somebody. It's just not me. As I said before, if she has one fan that don't like her, it will be me. With that being said, what were your thoughts on the little Tiffany segment?
I mean, I thought it was a cute package. I mean, I do see the potential in her, like, and I don't know, her character is just so funny to me. Like, I can't help but just find her entertaining. I'm sorry, my nose is itching. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm excited to see how this match goes, because I genuinely think there's a good possibility of Thea winning. Like, I really do feel that way. Like, I don't know what shifted, but it's been the last 2 weeks. I feel like Thea has a very strong possibility now, and then that just makes me wonder what's next for the title, because I feel like it's been so much just like back and forth, back and forth. Like, we need a good Mandy Rose type reign. We need one of those again, like, to really, because the title right now is just jumping around too much.
Yeah, I do think we need a solid reign. I just feel like it's not Tiffany, and I know people like her. I'm hoping we can change that up. Listen, not for me. It's not. I will never have a Tiffany epiphany. It's gonna be like, no, never, to the end. Yeah. I guess, yeah, call her a good champion. How? I just. Okay, because I'm about to get me in a rant. I'm not gonna do it today. I just feel like because somebody has a good moonsault, that does not make them a good champion. You're gonna stop these shenanigans. What makes her good? Please tell me what is she doing that I'm like, yes, I can't wait to see you next week. What's happening? What's happening? Just it's
what I will say, I like a lot of things about Tiffany, but I will say her reign has been lackluster, which is why I feel like the last like 2 weeks I felt like so strong that it is a possibility of her losing it, because I feel like all the greatness that she has and all the things about her that make her such, and it is not translating to her reign, if that makes any sense at all.
It does make sense. I don't think she should have been champion. I mean, if she wants to be the annoying, cocky, conceited character, fine. But I will never get on the train. The train will get derailed. Okay, that's what's gonna happen to the train derailment. We're just not gonna do that. We'll stop these shenanigans. And so we had a little segment from our buddy, Gable Stevenson, who said he is, weighed his options after, going after another national championship and, and his maybe second Olympic gold medal. He was kind of saying that he wanted to make his make his NXT debut at a Great American Bash, which unfortunately then we got to see Baron Corbin because he felt the need to come out on a Tuesday and just ruin my night. And says that he challenged him to a match at Great American Bash. So Baron said he was ready to cross lines he never had before to get ahead, whatever the hell that means. And then we got 2 weeks of his vignettes. And I'm like, so you said all of this and you look what changed? I was confused because I'm like, you did all of this. And I learned, like, what happened? What happened? Like, what do we do? And so he did all this extra. And so I guess we're going to wind up having him go against Corbin at, the Lone Wolf at Great American Bash. And I do think he might be coming along as far as his in-ring ability, but clearly I do think Gable needs some mic promo work. I think he looked pretty, kind of felt like he was reading off a teleprompter. And I was just like, okay, if this is what we get, and clearly you need to work on it. And maybe that's why they're having Baron do this. However, nobody asked for this. And it is good for him that he's going to wrestle Corbin in regards that Corbin is one of the main guys, like he's on the main roster. But who asked? I was just like, so we did all of this for the last 2 weeks in here that you had to go to the woods. For whatever reason you went to the wilderness, and this is what we get? You come back to him, I'm going to wrestle Gable. If you don't be for real, I was like, you know what? Because this is why I get annoyed. He went to the woods like he's about to come enlightened. Like he was going to deal with the elements and or something and come back with some enlightenment. And this is what you do. Why did we have the last 2 weeks wasted? We didn't need that. And see, I'm like, this is why I'm talking about, I don't like Baron Corbin. He is boring as hell. And this just convinced, nobody was convinced after. This should have convinced you that why do people care about Baron Corbin? Who cares? Who is sitting here like, you know what, guys? This is who I want to see on a Tuesday. Who is sitting here saying, I want to buy Baron Corbin shirts? Who? When y'all find me that person, let me know. So I can be like, you know what, my guy, we need to reevaluate decisions here. Because why? So we got all of those for this. But here we are. I guess Gable will be making a debut, but also, but why? So what are your thoughts about that segment?
I guess I do agree. Like, Joseph keeps bringing this up. This man was drafted to Raw. I'm like, so y'all just completely don't care about this draft. The draft was just like, they just wanted it. They just wanted to say they did it to say it was done because everyone's everywhere. Nothing matters. This is ridiculous. At this point, the way they just don't care to be on anything, I'm waiting for somebody to just pop up on Impact, Ring of Honor. Y'all just don't care about the draft. Y'all just everywhere popping up. You don't care. So I'm just confused here. Honestly, where is the stay on your brand, please? For like a minute. Let's do that. Let's try it. And Baron, why did they wait? Why did they make him go out, stare at himself with the fire and a torch just to come back the same? I really thought he was having a whole change. You never seen me. He said, oh, I'm going to do things I've never done before to win. Man, you tried to kill Rey Mysterio for Money in the Bank. You threw him off the roof. What else could you possibly do? That's attempted murder. So what is beyond that?
I forgot. He definitely
What's beyond murder, Baron? What is beyond murder? You tell me right now. Honestly, I can't. This whole segment was just okay. The draft don't matter. The last 2 weeks of vignettes don't matter. Cool. That's what I got from this segment.
Wilson, you about to not be my buddy right now because why? You telling me you have a long day on a Tuesday. You worked hard. You probably want to rest, relax, eat a good meal, okay? Whatever you do to relax, and you say, you know what I want to do with this time, Baron Corbin, that's what you say? Evaluate that. Evaluate why that is a choice. Why is that your choice? I just need to know because why? But yes, agreed. I forgot about the Rey Mysterio thing. He did throw him over the building. I'm like, oh, crime on TV, crime. I don't know. I feel like you can't really go past that. Like, if you're already willing to maybe commit a murder, there's really nothing. I mean, what else can you do? Maybe terror attacks. That's like the best level. I feel like after that's probably the highest you can go. I feel like again, you went to the woods. I was expecting something. You cannot go to the woods, Mr. Lone Wolf, and do nothing. What was the point of that? What did we learn? That Baron is boring. This is all we learned. That he confirmed for everybody once again that he is boring. I can't. Whatever. Here we are. Yes, definitely contradict. He did all that for no reason. For no reason. For no reason. Like, what was the point? What did we learn? He acted like he was going to come back, like, better, more gritty or something. All he said was, I'm going to challenge Gable. Get real. That's, but here we are. Here we are with the shenanigans. And so let's go to the first women's match. Some women's action, which like I want to feel like it's a candlestick kind of match between Cora Jade and Dana Brooke. And so I had like, it was nice where it ended, but I did have my issues with this. So Dana did immediately go after Cora, kind of dumped her over the announce table, and then Cora kind of responded by tripping Dana into the table and then hitting her with the kendo stick. I just don't know what happened where something clearly just wasn't working the way it could have worked. I felt like something with like maybe it was pacing that was a little bit off, or it felt like wrestlers, we know wrestling setup spots. We all know this, but I'm always a firm believer that if you're going to set the spot up, I shouldn't know you're setting that spot up. And I feel like we can tell. And that bothred me just because it seems so unclean. Like, just if you're going to do the spot, make it where we can tell so little that that's what you're doing. And it just, something was not working. And I don't know if it's the Dana thing. I don't know if it's Cora. I felt like Cora has struggled in the last couple of matches as well as far as this. But I feel like the NXT crowd didn't do what Dana was doing before. And I felt like Dana definitely, if anything, what she was supposed to be the face in this, it kind of gave her like she was the heel in this. I felt like Dana was a lot more dirtier in this regard. There was more. Cora did try to use a steel chair, but Dana, the person who's been hanging out with her name's just lost me just that quick. But Kelani Jordan, kind of involved herself to kind of help her in this and kind of handed weapons to Dana Brooke. And so this was cool, but it just, something really felt like was missing. And I really can't tell you what it was. It just didn't hit right the way I guess it should have. However, with that being said, Dana, with the help of Kelani, did hit a senton bomb onto Cora to win this matchup. And Dana did come up with the win. I do think she did shut up the crowd for a bit because they were being unnecessarily cruel to her for no reason. But otherwise, it was decent. I just don't know what was missing for me. There was something missing. There was something that just wasn't gelling for me, and that was really disappointing. But what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed the match for what it was. I do see what you're saying about some spots like being a little too obvious. Yeah, like that. I don't understand what goes on with that crowd. I really cannot. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, and I don't know. Do they go home and say "job well done"? Like, I have to think. Like, what's the thought process? Like, because sometimes it's just like overboard for me. Cora, like, I would say, because Kelani was handing things and kind of like had some involvement, like, you can kind of lay on that to not make Cora look too bad from this loss. But I don't want to see Cora lose again. So whatever happens after this, she better get a W, because we're not doing that. Because that's the girl I really want to have the NXT Women's title. That's who I really want to be champion right now. So we got to make sure she look right. Don't do my girl bad. Yeah, but to give Dana Brooke, oh my goodness, to give Dana Brooke a win is great. And like, I like Dana Brooke. Okay, forget that crowd. They're just mean. They're just mean. That's it. They're just mean. Okay.
I definitely agree. They are mean, but I think this was her way of kind of, getting back at that. And so that was cool. And so there was a segment after that where we see it was like a private ring, and Damon Kip kind of convinced Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey to work with him. And before I get to the next segment, because I did find it funny, I'm gonna ask you what were your thoughts on that.
Damon, I can't be bothered with you, diabolical teddy bear. I cannot. But if you want to hang out with Charlie and Drew, and I mean, I think they're all pretty entertaining characters. Like, they're so different in so many ways that I think that it could actually work. So it's be a cute little trio. We see where it goes, and we know they all are, when it comes to that groundwork, they get it done. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to see where they go with this. And so there was a little ode to something, which I thought was funny because that's actually one of my favorite wrestling segments, honestly, which is a little ode to the sex supermarket segment between Booker T and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And so I will say I'm not really sure how whoever got the footage of this, but we had some footage from some kind of gas station type store where Roxanne beat up Blair Davenport. And so like um it was definitely a lot happening in this. And again, this is clearly the little ode, and I think it was cool to see Booker T make certain expressions. Like he had trouble because we all know they have the Stone Cold opened a can of beer, and then he got his butt whooped in the supermarket. And so we got to see whoever was recording this, and it was funny because honestly, the one part with the lady who was just like with her shopping basket, like, ma'am, why do you just stay like not me? Is somebody doing all this like while I'm trying to shop or get some food? I'm like, you know what? Y'all don't need my money right now because clearly y'all don't have it together. And so while Blair did get her moments in, Roxanne came out on top. And I feel like after Blair, everything Blair did with like attacking people in parking lots for all that time that she was, I was okay with this. Because yes, why was you doing that in the first place? And so I don't know if I buy Roxanne necessarily being like super tough or whatever. But I did like that she was kind of the one standing tall on this. Clearly, somebody also called the cops because you heard little sirens at the end of that segment. And she just kind of said she did and dipped, and I'm like, she also like realistically, if cops pop up, you was moving a little too slow for my liking. Like you gotta beat up and dip. Why are you sitting there having a long speech after? No, I whooped you ass. I'll see you be an American bad sis. Bye bye. Some smack and walk out. She was a little too long because you shouldn't have even heard the sirens. You should have been gone already. But I did love this segment. Roxanne most certainly got the better justification of this. I don't know who supposedly was filming it because it did start off on like a phone, and then it kind of like a mix of a phone, and then somebody was clearly recording it. Somebody was like watching in the background. But so whoever at NXT who always find people who can have all this footage and do nothing to stop anything, thank you for the footage, I guess. But I was okay with this. I did laugh because it was like this was definitely like classic Booker T, Stone Cold, and especially since Booker T is the trick is the one who she comes from his school and everything. I thought that was a nice little ode to that. And so, what were your thoughts on that segment?
I have to agree with Joseph. I loved it. Yes, like it was just a fun, nostalgic, step back, and it was cool to see. I think Roxanne has been tapping into this, tougher, but I don't. It just doesn't seem like her. Like it just doesn't. So it's like I don't know. I'm not able to get to it because I'm just used to this like lovable, like really amazing wrestler Roxanne. I'm not used to like all this aggression, like which is great because sometimes you need it specifically for people like Blair Davenport who are gonna come at you crazy. Sometimes you need to unleash that. But hopefully this is something she's just unleashing for Blair, and then we get our sweet Roxanne back. Like don't be beating up people in supermarkets. The supermarket is for shopping. That's it. But this was fun to watch, and I'm excited for the match. I think they're gonna have one of the best matches of the night for sure. So
Yeah, I do think they're gonna probably really let it all loose and out, and I think they should. I don't know how I feel about um her being like tough like this, but if it's necessary to get past um you know Blair, then this is the moment. But I thought it was really well done. I did laugh, and again, it Booker T's expressions made it a lot better because it was like again, I felt like he had flashbacks. He had some flashbacks, and that was really funny. But before we get on to the rest of the show, let's listen to some words for our lovely CEO TK Trinidad.
Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw Post-Show, WoW Post-Show, AEW Dynamite Post-Show, Women's Wrestling Army Post-Show, NXT Post-Show, Impact Wrestling Post-Show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live Post-Show, On the Scroll, ROH Post-Show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Yes, as a lovely CEO TK Trinidad said, we have a lot of awesome shows almost every single day of the week. And as always, we are so grateful and appreciative of you guys for hanging out with us mostly every day. You guys are like popping up in all the shows. We have a lot of shows. So thank you guys. We love you guys for that. I don't know if I say it's better than I thought it was funny. I just Stone Cold opening the beer for me was great. And so it always made that segment really funny for me. But again, I really did enjoy the segment. I thought it was nice to kind of see something a little different, even though whoever always happened to have cameras when all this stuff goes down in NXT. It's like, can we hire this person? Because this person always seems to have all the camera footage. From no matter where it is, just somebody got some footage. Who gave the footage in the first place? Who gave this supermarket, this gas station footage? Who gave this? But moving on along, we had another tag team match between Shannon Stacks Lorenzo and Tony D'Angelo versus Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. And so this was okay, not bad. For some reason, Scripps or Reginald was on commentary. Something Booker T kept saying to kind of tell Vic Joseph to call him Reginald. And I feel like we all know that that's who he is. Like, let's stop these shenanigans. This is Reginald. But this was okay. Like, I felt like Bronco and Lucian did dominate the first half of this matchup. It was like really early on, they kind of really had it. And they were really on point. But then as soon as I felt like Tony D'Angelo got in, it changed real quickly. All of a sudden, the hot tag happened, and it was as if Bronco and Lucian just didn't, everything they did in the beginning just wasn't working. And he pretty much was like super unstoppable. He wound up doing his bada boom, and he won this matchup. Also, during this, for some reason, Axiom did kind of attack Reginald and kind of ran him through the ring, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a random time to do it at this moment, but okay. And so that happened, and then also Gallus did pop up to say that they will still be on top after Great American Bash, and so I was a little iffy, and I say this only because I do think Tony and Stacks did this well, but because this is their second match, Lucian, and I just felt like to have them lose also really didn't seem like it worked because they just look at the second NXT match. It doesn't make them look good to lose this quickly into it for the second time. Though I do understand having Tony D'Angelo win as well, and so it's like kind of stuck in there. But what were your thoughts on this matchup?
I personally wouldn't have even had the match happen with those two. I would have. I'm sure there's two people they could have put together, or the team that right now is not in a main storyline that they could have done to not like have these two people who literally I think they just debuted like last week. lose their second match when they're supposed to be this, like, the way that the vignettes went about, it made it seem like they were going to be this unstoppable, you know, group, like, and they're going to be like, you know, they're huge guys, and then you have them lose their second match. It's just kind of like, okay. And then also it's the fact that you've attached them now to scripts, and now they're involved in this, and Axiom's gonna get his lick back, and they're gonna be collateral damage, which is not gonna make them look any better after especially losing their second match. I just feel like that maybe just wasn't the right way to go, but it is what it is. I'm glad that Axiom, you know what, I like that Axiom did it when he did, because you know what it gave me? It gave on sight. It gave, the minute I see and know where you are, I'm coming to whoop on you. I don't care what's going on, what the surroundings is. And honestly, that's exactly what Axiom should be doing, because Scripps has been playing with this man for weeks. Sick of him.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't know why he was attached to this either. And I don't know. This is just a weird thing to do. I felt like I wouldn't have had the match either. But here we are. Here we are. I feel like whatever momentum you was trying to get for them is gone. But you know, what can you do? What can you do? And so the next segment we did have was with the metaphor kind of get Nomdar into some good spaces with Supernova sessions. And so during the latest Supernova session, the metaphor presented Noam with a new heritage cup, which seemed to waken him up from his catonic state. Apparently he was like in a coma or something, and he, you know, I was like, okay, I mean, if he all of a sudden he's just now in good spirits and this is how it works. But that was very, very short-lived, because after he got all excited and said he got his heritage cup back, Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee did come out with the actual heritage cup, which wound up starting a brawl between them, and included Yulissa and Valentina, with every, you know, on all of that. And so I did like the segment, and I thought this was a nice little introduction to kind of get them back on pace. But I don't think Noam is getting his heritage cup back. I just feel like he needs to let that go. But otherwise it was a decent segment, not too bad. What were your thoughts on this segment?
They literally crack me up. Like, all four of them are so funny for no reason. And I just love that they're all the same level of delusional about this heritage cup. Like, it actually makes it even more funny. I'm not gonna lie, I would not be mad if Noam gets the heritage cup back, because I feel like he's so funny. Like, it's so funny, the scenes that we get, like the dramatics of it all. Like, he just makes it feel so important. Nathan, I'm nothing against you, because I feel like you've been having banger matches behind the heritage cup. Like, definitely have been. But Noam, like, it's just something about when you get those two together, the heritage cup and Noam. It's just like it just like, it's everything. It really is.
I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. I feel like I don't really see it happening, but we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise us. And so there's a couple of segments after this. First being Dijak warning Eddie Throat not to get too cocky from, you know, just because he had one win, which I was like, I mean, oh yes. Then we also had Chase U hyping up Thea Hill for her title match at Great American Bash. And again, I do think she has shown quite a bit of promise since the first time we've seen her do a solo match. So that's good. And then we also had a little segment with my children's mortal enemies, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, where they were arguing in the parking lot, and after what happened, they lost last week. And then Humberto kind of said he was not going to listen to Angel Garza anymore. Fact that made my children very happy. Apparently, they was happy with them fighting and arguing, because again, the beef is real. But what were your thoughts on those segments?
So Dijak, I like you, but you need to calm down. Now you're going, you're jumping too far. Like, leave Eddie alone. We're not doing that. Now Eddie's gonna have to and we could have avoided that if you just left him alone. So now I'm upset because I like y'all both, but now I gotta watch him beat you up. You should have just left him alone, honestly. Thea, I'm happy. Like, I'm just happy to see where she is now versus where she was. So yeah, I'm just, I'm rooting for her. That's all I can say. Like, she's definitely winning over, because at first I was like, why are you yelling? Like, every time I'm like, why are you yelling? Like, every time I just couldn't hold it in. So for it to go from that to, you know what, I'm rooting for you. It's a big deal. And honestly, Angel, it's fine. We need you back in your solo era anyways. I've been waiting. So that's all.
Yeah, I can't really say it's one of my kids, but Angel Garza, um, as a fine man, I'm just saying. And so, I'm okay with him being solo as well. Like, I get that they're cousins and a family. I mean, I guess. But yeah. I'm just like, oh man, it's okay. I get the whole family and bond, but again, my kids was very happy about them arguing. That's what they deserve. And I'm just like, I promise it's not that important. And then they said I didn't understand. And I'm like, you guys be fine. It's fine. But yes. Listen, let me tell y'all about, I remember during quarantine when he did something and it was close, not all the way there, because like when Roman Reigns came back, I did fell out my chair. I did. I was like, oh, wasn't ready. I was glad that the camera didn't catch me doing that. That would have been very embarrassing. They didn't catch me. However, and I was like, okay, Andrew, I'm seeing the vibes. I know he got a wife and he's a kid on the way. I'm gonna guess, but having him listen. You know what? Y'all gonna tell me y'all don't know like his pants? Like, that was amazing. Okay, that was great. Connecting with the fandom right there. You take off your pants and surprise. I like that. I was happy. Okay, I'm just, give people what they want. That's what I want. Okay,
you're right. Oh my God, that's so
give
true.
Give us what we want.
It's just innovative. It's innovative.
Take it all off. It's fine.
It's a game changer.
It is. And so, if I ever met him, I remember like, you know what, bro, like I can be not too bad because he does have a wife and I'm not that person. But I might get a couple of hugs in there and be like, let's bring it in, Angel, kiss Cam for like cheek kiss. It's fine. I'll let you do it. Just saying. But yes, I am okay with Angel thriving on his own like he deserves. He deserves solo stardom. But now let's get into our matchup. Next women's matchup with Miss Rhea Ripley versus Lyra Valkyria with Dominik Mysterio, because he was there. And so I thought this was a really, really solid match. I really enjoyed it. There was a moment Rhea did catch Lyra running with like a headbutt, and she does do a lot of headbutts. And then she went for a frog splash, but Lyra wind up knocking her off the post to the floor. I really thought this was a lot of stuff that worked off really well. Even to show that Lyra wasn't that easily like beatable. And I guess this also, even though I still kind of question why she was saying where she stood in the women's division going after Rhea Ripley, but okay, I do think her, Rhea not being able to put her down really well made Lyra look a lot stronger. She did also do a frog splash, and at one moment it looked like that Lyra might have won, and that was like, oh, okay. And so there was also a moment where Dom did do, he took a suicide dive for Rhea. So, but she also still got Rhea down with a head scissors takedown, and then did a DDT before that frog splash. Again, I thought was really, really fantastic work. But I think if anything, what this showed was that Lyra clearly knows what she's doing. And while I do agree with the last comment, Joseph, about as far as I didn't like that it did, if again, Rhea Ripley's Rhea Ripley, I will tell anybody any day that I like Rhea Ripley. That's my girl. I do think it did make her look just a little weak, but I also think it made Lyra look good. And so it's one of those like, shit, you kind of have to kind of decide what works better in this. However, Rhea did take it real seriously after that, and she did her Riptide to win her matchup. And as you see, she did win the match. But otherwise, I really thought this was a fantastic match. And I thought, if anything, this should make Lyra look again like she needed a challenge. I did, and I say Rhea because she sold a lot of this really well. Now I do think Lyra needs to beat JC, because it's like you can't be beating Rhea Ripley and then you're sitting here, come on, because Rhea Ripley is clearly the superior one of this group. And so I feel like they need to have her beat that. But I do think it was nice for Lyra, even though it did make me like just a tad, but not much, just a tad for Rhea. But what were your thoughts on this matchup?
I really enjoyed this. Like, I think they both really put the best foot that they could possibly have put. They put it forward. Absolutely. I loved it. I think it was great for Lyra. Again, we're seeing the rebuild of her after, taking some detrimental losses in the past. I'm just like wondering where it goes. Again, I said earlier, like, we've had it where they've built her and got her these significant wins and then done nothing with it. So while I'm really happy about this because I feel like it really definitely helped her, I'm just hoping that they follow through and capitalize on it, because they've not done that the last 2 times. Another thing I wanted to say, I saw, Joseph, you said something. Now, I think back to when Paige first came to the main roster and then she beat AJ Lee for the title on her first day. I feel like if they had the right person, like, right, it had to be like, every star aligning, I would be okay with this if something like that happened. It would have to be like the perfect person, but I would be okay with that. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Yeah, I agree on that. But I guess we'll see what they go. I hope they do capitalize it. Otherwise, it would be kind of pointless to do all that. But yes, which then leads us to the last match, I guess, of the show. And so Trick Williams did most certainly call out Isla Dragunov, as we knew he would, and he answered. And so this Isla Dragunov came out in like a fancy like black attire suit, and this was pretty like solid. He pretty much wiped out Trick with a couple of chops, and he did 2 running low forearms, and had Trick like laid. He had him laid out, and I was like, oh man, I damn. And so the Carmelo did come out. He took he made the save by taking the torpedo Moscow, which is why he's laid up on a corner like that. And I thought this was probably, of all the segments we had in 2023 in regards to the NXT Championship, this is probably the most heated. I felt like Isla Dragunov kind of stomping, him laying out Trick like that, making him look super unstoppable, like super heelish, and then the fact that Carmelo told him not to take the fight anyway, and he did. And I felt like this also put over Carmelo in a way, because it showed that he would do whatever he can to help his friend. And that, I thought they did that really well on both aspects of also showing Isla Dragunov being super, because he did all in some dress shoes. First of all, his shoes look like they're hurting. Like, he got like they're a little tight, and he did all that in dress shoes. And the person who did all that kind of stuff was Rock. He used to do his sliding shit in them shoes. Okay. And he did all of that in like the black, got the little thing happening, little turtleneck. He was on it, and I felt like it gave him like perfect heel vibes, and again made Carmelo still seem like he's champion, but he also appreciates his friend. And so I thought this was fantastically done. That was a great way to end NXT, and I thought this made Isla Dragunov look like an absolute, like he was going to be a problem for him at Great American Bash. So what are your thoughts on this, last match segment to end off NXT?
Can I just hold on? Let me just 1 second. I gotta go back to real quick. This is one of the coldest images of the year for wrestling. First of all, those shoes be cutting up the back of your ankles, so I know his ankles is done. Doing all that, look at the stance, look at the lay. Oh my gosh. Listen, Dragunov, you have won me over. Anything I said before, it wasn't the truth. I was lying. Never dissed. Like, wow. I'm already like, and you know what? Don't say, I mean, hide my face. Listen, if he won, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't be too mad because this is just like you can't ignore this. You just can't. And even when he was talking to Carmelo in the back, you saw him getting dressed, getting himself together. Like, well, if you want to call me out, sure. I'ma still look, still dripped out, still giving it. It's like if you want to do it. But I'm gonna beat him up. He said it, simple as that. I'm gonna beat him up. But if you want to do it, that's fine. Oh my gosh. You know what, Dragonov? You took it. You took it. That's it. He took it. I don't know what it is, but he took it. And Carmelo, I don't know what's been going on. Trick is messing with you. Trick, stop being so emotional. I really feel like something's up with Trick. Like, I feel like something is on the horizon. I smell it. I smell it.
Yeah, man. No, he definitely. I was like, okay, you keep in ready. I was like, I respected. He definitely looked. He was on it. You know, you can't complain about that. Like he was definitely on it. But I do think again they're gonna deliver, and because I like Carmelo and I also like Alan Dragunov. I was always a fan, and so and again he never technically lost the belt in the first place when he was the NXT UK champion. It was an injury, and so it's like it's not I really really complain. So I'm good with it. I think they're gonna deliver. I really, really think they're gonna deliver. I did see that comment about the black Air Force Ones. If he would have came out with a suit like that in the black A1s, we already knew he was gonna stomp a mud puddle. Like we knew people don't play with when you wear the black A1s. We know. We already know what to expect when you wear those. I said we know, and so I think they're gonna deliver. I really, really, really do. And I'm excited, which is going to lead us, guys, because we are a couple of 3 days, wait, today's Thursday, my bad, 3 days shy of the Great American Bash. So we're going to tell you guys our predictions of who we think is going to win what. So let's get into it. First match being Mustafa, Dom, and Wesley for the NXT North American Championship. Who do you think is going to win this, Shay?
I honestly, I don't really see Dominik having like this long reign. I really think he just did that to be a troll, and I could see Wesley either regaining or Mustafa winning this. Like, so I'm gonna go with Wesley. I'm gonna go with Wesley and Joseph. I love that they keep doing with the old names of old pay-per-views with like No Mercy and stuff. So I'm excited for that, by the way. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I want to say Wesley, but maybe it will be Mustafa because what they have to give me a reason why he got put down there. You know what I mean? Like they brought him to NXT and then he's kind of just been there, and it's like, well, what would be the purpose if you just once again get the title shot and then you lose? So I'm gonna go Mustafa, though I would not be surprised if Wesley. I don't think Dom is gonna have it for long either. If he is, I'm gonna truly, truly, truly be surprised, but I do not think he's gonna have it long. I'm gonna go with Mustafa on this just because otherwise what purpose would it be? And to have Wesley lose it to get it back in a week is like the man didn't need to lose it then. They'll have him be all stressed to have him win it right back. I feel like that would be kind of ridiculous, honestly. But so I'm gonna go with Mustafa on this one.
But you know what? This wouldn't be the first time they've done a title change for shock value, then to just give it back to the person. Like, remember when they did that with Braun and Dolph? I was just like,
that is true. That is true.
Why?
That is true. You're right. They definitely did that. And so the next matchup is Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport. This is a weapons kind of match. Who's your pick on this one?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, like Roxanne has definitely stepped into a new gear, but I'm just so enamored with Blair Davenport right now that I just have to go with her. Like, I'm so sorry. Roxanne, I love you. Like, seriously.
I don't know. I feel like why I do think Blair is gonna give her, I think she is. I think she's gonna really do the most. I do think Roxanne is winning it. And I say this only because like you can't have her do all this and saying she's changing, and then she did all that and she still lost. I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of all of that. Defeats the purpose of having the whole segment in the gas station and you're sitting here having cops being called. That defeats everything for me. It's like, now don't get me hyped up and be like, oh, yes. So I feel like I'm gonna go Roxanne off of this alone, but I do think it won't be an easy win. I do think Blair is gonna give her something, but I do think Roxanne is gonna win this matchup. And then this now leaves us to the Metaphor versus Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, Valentina. Crap, what is her name? I just forgot that fast. But
what? Yelisa Leon?
There you go, Yelisa. So who do you got for this matchup?
You already know. Oh, the Metaphor, okay? I'm always going for the Metaphor.
I do like Nathan Frazier. I do like him, but I also think Metaphor is winning this. I feel like because I don't think he's gonna get I don't think Noam is gonna get his Heritage Cup back. I feel like you're gonna do all this, you might as well have them win. Otherwise, what would be the purpose of having them have this whole faction and then they lose? This is kind of them kind of like having their thing. And so I do think Metaphor will also be winning. I agree. I do think it's Metaphor for this. Next up, Tony D'Angelo and Stacks versus Gallus. Who you got?
Listen, Tony D and Stacks better win. I'm sorry. They need to. Like, Gallus is driving me crazy. Like, Joe and this Bayang. Like, I need Stacks and Tony to win.
I think I'm going to go with them as well. I feel like you can't have this whole storyline, him going to jail, him having to get seen in visits through the glass and all of this. And then I feel like what will be the purpose of all of that. So I do think if you're really trying to keep this momentum, have to win it. And I think Dallas is going to look too cocky anyway. And so I'm going with the family as well. I do think they're going to win this. And I like Gallus, but I'm going to have to agree. I wasn't really fond of too much on the Reign, but we'll see, whatever. Now we have Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale. Who you going with?
I am going with, I don't know. I feel like, see, this is really hard for me because I feel like there's something in the air that's making me uncertain that, Tiffany is going to retain. But, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to say Tiffany retains because I think that's a sure and smart. I think whatever I'm feeling is dramatic and probably just I'm not even going to, no.
I'm going to go with Thea. And I say this because outside of me being biased to Tiffany because I like her, but I feel like why hype Thea up for all of this and then to have her I feel like that would be such a letdown to have her tap out the first time and then she tapped out twice after that, and then you clearly see that she has people behind her. I feel like that would be such a letdown to have this many people behind her to lose. I feel like, and if Tiffany does retain, it might be some cheating happening again or some kind of nonsense that the referee don't see. But I do feel like it'll be a major letdown because otherwise, why would I'm just why do all this? You didn't have to do all this with Thea. You could have just had him have the rematch call a day. Why do all of this building to show that she can win it? And then we psych guys. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with the hopeful underdog. I hope that Thea wins this. But we'll see. We'll see. Boo. I guess you guys talking me shenanigans. And now this match that nobody asked for with Gable Stevenson versus Baron Corbin. Who you got?
Gable Stevenson.
I
Because I don't even know what's going on with Baron. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna just go with Gable.
I don't even know what's going on with this photo, honestly. He looks a little weird. But yeah, I just feel like he is no point of having him debut and lose. So I'm gonna go with Gable as well. Obviously Corbin's just here to help him along, I guess. But yeah. As far as Tiffany with a new submission, I mean, I feel like Thea might have some more submissions as well. She has been training. I feel like she's not going to have just one. That makes no sense. But yes, I do think Gable's winning this. I don't see any other reason for it not to be that. And then now this leads us up to the final matchup between Carmelo and Island Dragunov. Who are you going?
Honestly, the way Dragunov been going, this is crazy. He got me. I didn't think I would be like this. I thought today when they first started going down the route, I said, I'm gonna be here saying Carmelo. Now I'm just shook. I'm shook. He's got me confused because he has a goatee now. They needed to add the goatee to this photo because that's important. That's important to the story. Damn. I'm. You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna go with Dragunov. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. I know. I'm gonna go with Dragunov.
But I'm gonna go with him too. And I know you mentioned the whole goatee, and a goatee just changed it all up for us. But I stand by. I said he never lost the NXT UK title. He never technically lost it. It was given away once he got injured. He came back and everything was all together and all this other stuff. And I love Carmelo Anthony. He is definitely money. It's like Carmelo Anthony. Jesus Christ. Carmelo Hayes. Whoo, Lord. See, it's craziness. Craziness. I think Carmelo Anthony also used the Melo as money as well when he got the buckets. So excuse me, Carmelo Hayes. Don't hate me for this. I totally listen. It's been a day. Carmelo Hayes is my guy. I do like him, but I like Alan Dragunov. I always have, and I'm like he's came in again ready to just put the beats on Carmelo. He beat up his friend. He's just like I'll beat up everybody. Everybody get hands. And so I'm also going with Alan Dragunov as well. If Carmelo turns, and this is the time we've been saying we thought he was going to turn on Carmelo for some time. If he felt like maybe this is the reason, I guess. But I do think Alan Dragunov is going to win this only because like he's been doing a lot the last couple of weeks. That would do, and I love Carmelo. And I'm like, where do you go with him here? Like, do you move him to the main roster? But I do think Alan Dragunov is taking this as well.
Even Jeffrey, the thing that you said, bringing this up, because I remember Trick said something when he was like yelling at Carmelo about this whole situation. He said, it's not about you, it's about me. I said, there it is. There it is. We got you. We got him.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if anything, that's what's gonna happen. But we'll see. I will see. If he doesn't win, I will truly be surprised. But we'll see. We'll see. So that is it for our NXT recap, and we gave our predictions for Great American Bash. We will be doing a Great American Bash after show. I'm gonna say I don't know what time that is. I'm guessing 10-ish. I'm guessing, but we will be doing that on Sunday. So definitely come hang out with us there. But thank you as always for hanging out with us. Tell everybody, Shay, what you got going on, and where can they find you?
Okay, so every Monday there's a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast. We just dropped one. It's very funny. I was yelling at bad guy because he deserved it probably. Then obviously you can catch me back here Thursday. Well, in the next week or so, I'll be adding something else because right now we have Rising Sun Rundown at 5. We got NXT at 7. We got Dark Side of the Ring at 8:30. And now at 11 o'clock, we have the Challenge USA review. That's for Unpopular Review with Mike Knox, 3 X's. So yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. So yeah. And Shay Sawyer _ as well. If you want to hear me tweet you want to see me tweet my agenda, justice for Finn Balor.
Yes. Well, though Dark Side of the Ring will be over soon. I think we have 2 more weeks after today. So it won't be too stressful for you. But as for me, you guys can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads in Cat We Trust. E is the 3. I'm also on Facebook in Cat We Trust. Obviously, my YouTube, definitely check that out. I will be having we had to reschedule it. Listen, I'm not calling it X. Elon Musk, kiss my ass. I'm not calling it that. I'm not doing that. No. Okay. But anyway, I will be having a super awesome another interview with a returning guest, and I'm really excited about that. I'm also it's been so busy, guys. I really slacked, but there's quite a few reviews I have to upload. They are done. I just gotta upload them because I've been so busy, but they will be happening. Okay. So catch me there. And if you are in New Jersey areas or in the New York areas, I have been doing my commentary thing. Definitely check me out on there, or you can catch some of my commentary on, I believe, Title Match Network. I am on there. And so, catch me there. Listen, I've been trying to behave, okay? I was being a mom last week, doing mom stuff, taking my kid to her concert and laughing at people crying for no reason because they were crying. And I was like, "What are you crying for? Get it together. Suck it up." But yes, nobody cares about X is Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Kiss my behind, Ellen. Do something with yourself. Do something more better than this. Stop being a pain in the ass. But as always, guys, we truly, truly love and appreciate you guys. You're going to see us in like 15 minutes to talk about the last 3 weeks of Dark Side of the Ring. We're going to try to do it a little quick just because I'm sure, you guys are like, goddamn. But we would do this pretty quick. But we truly love you guys and appreciate you guys hanging out with us I'm not sure what just happened there. I don't know why the thing is doing what it's doing, but we love you guys and we appreciate you guys. And we will catch you guys next week for NXT, but also we will see you in about 15. Love you guys. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.